What is up and what is cracking, everybody? It's your boy, DJ Trapstar Drink. We back here with another video, y'all. Today, I'm gonna be doing a special little challenge. So, as y'all can see here on the screen, we've got two spinny wheels open up here with some different choices. So, first, what we got here, y'all, is we got some different styles of drums. So we've got Zaytoven type drums. We got plug. Got futuristic, vibey, southern and pain drums, hard, and Detroit. And then besides that, we got some melody styles here, y'all. So we got ambient, southern, put my soul into it, which is a special type of melody I like to make, synths, classical, and Zaytoven melodies again. So what we're gonna do in today's video, y'all, is we are going to be spinning these two wheels and we are going to see what the results are and simply make a little hybrid subgenre, you know. So for example, we might spin one of these and get futuristic on the drums and maybe get classical on the melody. So then we would put futuristic drums on the beat with a classical melody, and then we'd have like a futuristic classical style song. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. So here's the drum wheel right here. Let's do this. Ooh, hold on, keep spinning. I really get a good spin on here, y'all. Spin, and stop. Ooh, southern drums, y'all. You know, I'm from Tucker, y'all, so it's easy for me to make some good old southern drums. And then next is the melody. So let's check this out, y'all. What do we got here? Hold on, let's get another good spin going here, y'all. Spin, and stop. Well, looks like the Weagles wanted y'all to hear a fire beat today because they're asking me for some southern drums, y'all, and to put my soul into a melody. And I mean, I do know how to put my soul into the melodies. I'll play y'all a little snippet of that beat right here. It's got like 30K views. We better do some southern MO3 pain type drums next to put my soul into a melody and see how that turns out. So let's get into it, y'all. So here we are out in FL Studio, y'all. Got the simple little FLP open. And so I think I'm gonna start with the melody on here, y'all. So I'm gonna start with Flex for the keys, y'all. This is often the #1 piano plugin for my piano beats, y'all. I'll often use a Steinway D Lite piano. And I want y'all to know also that the difference between the Steinway D and the Steinway D Lite, or any of these preset plus preset Lite versions, is if you look down here where this orange text is, everybody, you will see on the Steinway D, it says Steinway D piano with effects linked to macros, which is all this stuff up here. If you look at the Steinway D Lite, Steinway D piano with fewer effects to save CPU. So the reason I always use the Lite piano, y'all, is just to save on CPU usage. And if you look up here where the macros are, then you'll see it's just got low and high. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cook this little melody up, y'all, and I will catch y'all whenever I'm finished making that melody. All right, y'all, so here I am with the beginner melody. So as y'all can see here, I just did this little chord progression plus melody here in the key of G minor. And then I actually just copied the melody plus chord progression over to the next two beats and then added some more notes on there for melodics and harmony. And this is a trick that I use on a lot of my beats, y'all, that I definitely recommend to any beginners or just any lazy producers like me. You know, I mean, repetition often is something that sounds good in music. And if you copy the same sequence or the same motif or whatever you want to call it, and then add some notes on top on the repetition, then it can give it a nice varied sound on the pattern, you know. So I'm gonna just do that the same thing here, y'all. So that sounded pretty good so far, y'all. But like I was saying about adding more notes on top, it can help change the pattern up a lot. So I think I'm gonna actually add some even more notes on these last two beats right here. So I'll get back to y'all once I finish that up. And then, so I'm gonna just go ahead and explain to y'all what I did right here. So I added these notes, and then I added these notes on top of this pattern. And then, so as you can see with this melody right here, it kind of starts out on a higher area, which gives it a more light vibe. But then it also, you can say that it travels down to the rest of the melody, which kind of helps it blend into the rest. And then also on these last three notes, I'll just stack the octave, which can give it a really grand sound. And as you can see right here, even it's a triple stacked octave on that D. So here's the full melody for y'all now. And then one more thing I'm gonna do real quick, y'all, that I think really should be done on most, if not all melodies, is I'm gonna use Alt R for the randomizer. You know, just play with the velocity knob a little bit right here. And I also recommend ticking this little bipolar button here. And that'll just give it a little bit more of a human feel with the velocity, y'all. So next thing I'm gonna add, y'all, is the Beethoven Vox. Classic Vox. Some of y'all might know it from that that one Nelly song back in the day. But this is just an essential vocal for my put my soul into it type beats, y'all. So usually I'll just add it either on the root note or on the perfect fifth of the root note. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty with my music theory terms, y'all. So I'm gonna just add that real quick, y'all, and I'll explain to y'all what I did after I finish this up. Oh, one more thing, y'all. Before we get started, always check your time knob on your samples. So y'all see how it's not time stretched right here. So no matter what note I play, it's all gonna be the same note. But once I time stretch it here, y'all, see, then it actually lets me have control over the notes. So that's the issue that can happen with a lot of samples on FL Studio. So hopefully I saved a beginner with that one. All right, so here's my finished melody for the Beethoven vocal, y'all. And the best explanation I can give y'all for this is just that I followed a lot of the root notes on the scale, and where I didn't follow the root note, I really just clicked in whatever note sounded the best, y'all. So here's this melody along with the piano. Yeah. So the last thing I'm gonna add on top of all this, y'all, is just a quick little Beethoven violin. I'm gonna drop the sound file for this, y'all, in the description. This is a really useful violin to have. Oh, it doesn't want to let me play it right now, but it's a really good violin sound, though. It's just got a really realistic sound. And whenever y'all are using this, I also recommend for you to play with the attack and release knobs, and even the decay and sustain, which can give it an even more realistic sound. So I'm gonna do that real quick and mouse in this melody, y'all, and then I'll get back with y'all after that. All right, y'all, so here's my finished melody for this. I'll play with the attack and decay and sustain and release on this one some too, y'all. Here's what the melody sounds like for this one, along with the Beethoven vocal and the piano. All right, y'all. So that's the melody. And then now I'm going to move on to the drums, everybody. So I'm going to use this Wesley Grove Billy ML3 drum kit, y'all. This is my favorite drum kit to use for the Southern drums. So first I'm going to start off with one of these crashes here. Let me use this one. It's a classic crash sound, y'all. I'm gonna add a clap on top of that, y'all. Simply put it onto the third, 4, 5, 6, the third and the seventh beat. repeat that every 2 bars, of course. And then next I'm adding a counter snare, y'all. I'm gonna find a different snare to layer with this clap as well, y'all, so that way it sounds better along with the counter snare, because I feel like the clap and the counter snare sound a little bit too different right now, y'all. And then so next I'm gonna just add in a simple little hi-hat, y'all. I like this Young Stove hi-hat, so I think I'm gonna click in I'm gonna do a 2-step pattern to start, y'all. And then I'm gonna add some simple hi-hat rolls on this one. Also, this beat sounds a little bit slow, y'all, so I think I'm gonna speed it up to maybe 145. It's usually around where I like it. Yeah. All right, and then now I'm gonna add a little drum dummy kick now, y'all. It's one of my favorite kicks from the Wesley Grove drum kit. And then now I'm gonna add some more hits, actually, y'all. I think this melody could be a little bit more complex, so I think I'm gonna add this bell in, y'all, and I'm also add a guitar wah sound. So I'm gonna go with the classic NBA. Yeah, I'm sure y'all heard that on all the memes. Well, that's where the sound originally comes from, y'all. Comes from the NBA Youngboy drum kits and the NBA Youngboy songs. And also, just a little quick tip for y'all, it's more something that you just got to kind of figure out on your own, but a lot of these NBA Youngboy guitar walls are always in B minor. I don't know what it is with the people who be making these Youngboy guitar walls and making them in B minor, but a lot of them are in the key of B minor because they're not just single note hits, they're chords. So take that however you wish, but it's useful to know for sure. Last but not least, y'all, gotta add the 808. So I'm gonna go MO3 Alter Ego 808. It's one of my favorite 808s to use on these Southern Pain type beats. And I'm gonna just follow the root notes with these, y'all. Simple stuff. And then after that, the beat will be done. Well, I shouldn't say that. After that, the beat will be ready to mix and arrange. And then the beat will be done, y'all. So here's our 808 pattern. I turn my 808s up these days. I used to not do that. Well, I used to do it, and then I stopped doing it because it felt unprofessional. And then I started doing it again. Yeah, crazy stuff. Also, another quick tip: play with the sample start. I know y'all see that little gap right there. You might not think that it's that important. You might not think it makes that much of a difference, but when you're making music, man, the smallest bit of time makes the greatest difference, for real. Listen to that and listen to this. So you can tell it sounds delayed. You got an ear for it at least. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put these on my mixer tracks, and I'm gonna turn the volume knob up on all these because in FL Studio they actually turn the volume down for you on all your samples and plugins automatically, which is why I'll do that every time I make a beat, because I'm trying to get the max volume out of my sounds, man. And then I'm gonna start moving these to the buses. I'll try and explain what I'm doing as I go. So like I put the Steinway D on the melody bass bus. The only difference between is where the low frequencies are cut. So for the melody bus, it's more high frequencies, whereas for the lower one, it's more low frequencies. Put these claps and counter snares in here, y'all. A little hi-hat action next. And then last but not least, we'll hit it with this little 808 and kick, and then we'll mix these up. So now I'll try to explain my mixing process to y'all. I may not be the best teacher, but I'm trying to give y'all as much sauce as I can. So I normally try and mix my kicks I know it's not good to mix visually. You're supposed to mix by your ear, but I do still kind of mix visually whenever I mix my beats, which I did. I'm want to say though, I've tried mixing with my ear for a while, and it felt like mixing visually just worked better for trap music for me. So that's why I switched back. But yeah, and I'd say mixing is pretty intuitive though. Honestly, you want the melody to be quieter than the 808. You want your hi-hats and your drums to be loud. You want the clap and snare to blend into the beat decently. It's what you would think. It's what you would think. Explain my mixing to y'all real quick here. So yeah, I keep the melodies usually they're about the quietest element within the beat, unless there's like some percussion or something that I want to be even quieter. And then the claps and snares usually are around this yellow mixer point right here. Talking visually again. And then the hi-hats I usually keep right around below -6 decibels. And then the kick and 808 I'll just mix as loud as I can make them pretty much. So there's that for y'all. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and arrange this, and I'll be with y'all after I arrange the beat. And then we'll end the video there, and I'll show y'all a little preview. So let's arrange this. So to start out my arrangements, usually y'all, I'll do this, because usually I do my 8-bar loop like a lot of producers, and then I'll do 16-bar intro and then 16-bar hook. Yeah. As I'm working on the intro here, y'all, I also wanted to let y'all know that this drum fill right here it's a Southern type beat essential. All right, y'all, I can't lie. I just hit y'all with the little simple arrangement on this beat. So, we got a simple little intro here with just the melody and the bell, and then the crash and clap and 808. And then it just kind of stacks up the elements. And then you got the drum fill leading into the hook. And then in the hook, you got all elements playing at once. And then for the verse, I started out the verse by taking out most of the stuff. And then for the first two parts of the verse, there's no kick or counter snare. And then I use the Zaytoven vocal to kind of transition between the beginning and end of the verse. And then on the very last part of the verse, actually, I'm going to add one more drum fill right here. And then it kind of goes into a little breakdown section here where I take out the hi-hat. And then after that, go straight back into the hook. And then a little outro section, and that's it. So yeah, Expect a lot more awesome videos coming soon, y'all. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and hit y'all with that little beat sample now, y'all. So thank you to everybody for tuning in again. And peace.